This river doesn't get any better on a daily basis. For instance, I remember we sort of joked. You said, you're really probably not busy now this time because it's cold and really nothing's going on. A pump at Burst Street, which is where the little detention area is that I think some of your callers say, why is it always empty, went out over the weekend. So we had no ability to pump water from that detention pond over into the river. And what was it, 30 degrees in February or January? So things happen all the time. We're trying to make this thing work with bubble gum and duct tape. And I think one of the arguments that Hobart brings up, and not specifically Hobart, but all of them say, well, I'm not going to see a benefit. How am I going to get a benefit from this? The initial dollars, yes, will be put towards fixing what has been ignored for 20 plus years. After that's fixed, then we can start addressing the holistic approach of fixing watershed management in Lake County, and that is, or in the Little Cal watershed. No one has a plan, and I've said this every time that I've come out here, no one has a plan as to say, if Crown Point Water Management District does a wonderful job in displacing and moving their water out of their community, no one floods them in Crown Point, that's wonderful. But its effects on Maryville are unknown. If Maryville does a great job, the effects of it are unknown until it hits communities like New Chicago, Lake Station, and Hobart, because those communities are very similar if you look at it from a Deep River standpoint to a Hart's Ditch, they're the recipients of everyone else's water. They receive everyone's water. So if Cherville gets it away from them, I'm not criticizing any of these communities, I'm just saying, if Cherville does a wonderful job and they do that, great. But how does it affect Maryville? How does it affect Hobart? Because we're pushing more water downstream. So what we need to do is address the problem, and your caller, John Beckman, said it, upland water storage. So you reduce the amount of water and the timing of the water getting down to the Little Calumet River. Everyone's fixated at this is only going to help Little Cal and the people that have flood insurance. Yes, it will affect them. It will benefit them, correct. But it also, hopefully, in year 2 and year 3, help everyone else solve problems that every community has. There's every community that's been affected by a flood locally, and they don't live near the Little Calumet River.
219-845-1100. Dan Repay's in here. Dan, let's just paint the disaster scenario. What happens if this legislative session ends and you get no money? What happens?
All the problems get that much worse on the Little Calumet River. We go into another wet season and another summer without money to fix the problems. We were very fortunate last year. Chicago had the 3rd wettest summer of all time. And that River O'Hare got 6-7 inches in a couple 3 days span. That causes a great deal of problem in Lake County. And there's people that want to say that it won't and this won't happen again. I don't subscribe to that, because if you want to subscribe to that, and I'm not here to paint the worst picture, but I'm going to just tell you from what I see, if you think that this is not going to happen again or has no potential to happen again, you're buying fool's gold, because it's potential.
219-845-1100. And, it's coming out in the paper today, and little birdie's telling me that there's some folks downstate that are, even some local folks that are putting up some behind the scenes and not behind the scenes opposition to a plan that was put together by Ed Soliday and McDermott, actually the mayor here of Hammond, coming in on that. And evidently there's some folks sticking a spoke in the wheels down there. Now, I don't know what to say about that. Let's just take your phone calls. 219-845-1100. Hi, Pete.
Well, I think the original proposal was good. Everybody kicks in a little bit of money, $25 a year per house, I think it was, and you had a 5-member board, and you continued the good work that's been done, and the problem will be solved. Now it's turned into the fee is doubled. There's going to be, 10 or 12 board members. Here's another pot of gold for Lake County politicians to raid. Who's going to get the maintenance contracts? Who's going to do the legal work? And I hope somebody does stick a thing in the spokes, because you know what? The original proposal was good, and I don't know why that didn't pass.
You mean the one that was cut down last year by McDermott?
Yes, yes. That would have solved the problem
That basically
very economically. You had some people there that have done a great job getting this situation straightened out. Why does this have to evolve now until it's costing everybody double? Where's all this money going to go?
Yeah. Hang on,
sure.
Pete. Go ahead.
And I could try to answer some of the questions. One is the problems have gotten worse. We have lost 2 more segments to decertification, which mean the levees, all levees in Gary are considered decertified by the Army Corps of Engineers, which means they are not designed, or they're not into the condition that would function or survive or weather a rain event of the 100-year or 200-year flood event. They would be apt to fail. So the problems have gotten worse, and the cost is up. And I agree with it. I would have much rather had the $25. However, they have told us this is the new cost of fixing these levees. So we had to go and ask for more. And that's why we are guarded, and we support the standpoint of it going into state legislation, because quite frankly, it's more difficult to change a fee there than it is in other realms, which is a conservancy district where you just have 8, 9 people vote on a thing. The issue with the more representation, I think it's difficult to explain, but if you're asking someone from Crown Point or Winfield or St. John to contribute money, this advisory board's ability or job is to review where the money goes. Not as a pot of gold, because that would be up to the normal commission's job, is to decide where the money is spent. But more importantly, so they can look at this. I mean, from the last 2 years, we've received clear marks from the State Board of Accounts. You can look at our financial accounting online. It is clear. We have not misspent money. There's no dollars that have been unaccounted for. And I think it's their way to safeguard, to say, I at least took a look at where the dollars are spent, and they're being spent properly.